Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. So today I'm going to be taking you on a journey down memory lane about my positive labor and delivery story. I became a new mom about 2 months ago and I'm excited to share my experience with you. So if you're interested in this kind of content, stick around and stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. Before we move along, if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. Also click the bell button beside the subscribe button for regular updates. Let's get this channel to 1,000 subscribers and we can move along together. Okay, now to the story. Like my previous video, I did a video showing my pregnancy journey, when I found out I was pregnant to when I had my baby. I just put some video clips together here and there just to let you into a little bit about how my journey was. It was pretty smooth, I'll say. I didn't have any concerns or challenges during my pregnancy. You know, I mean, I had some pregnancy symptoms and all that, but those were normal pregnancy symptoms. I wasn't a high risk case, so I was pretty good throughout my pregnancy. Okay, so I carried my baby up until 40 weeks, and that 40 weeks I was expecting my baby to come, but my baby was sitting pretty in there, and he was, you know, very comfortable in the belly and refused to come out. Okay, so I passed my due date, and I was a couple of days past my due date. So my husband woke me up one day. I was like, oh, what do you think, should we go to the hospital? And I was like, okay, let's go and see, check if everything was okay. So we went down to the hospital. They hooked me up to a monitor to check the baby's heartbeat, and I was supposed to check the baby's kicks, right? So every time the baby kicks, I was supposed to record that by pressing this button. They gave me a button to press so that it records on the monitor, right? So every time I clicked on that, it records. So I think I was supposed to count about 6 to 10 kicks in an hour, I think, if I'm not wrong. I think that was what it was. And yeah, my baby was kicking fine, so there was nothing wrong with my baby. I just needed to wait for my water to break and then have my baby. Yeah, so we were there for a couple of hours before, about 3 hours or 4 hours before we were given the okay to go. But then before we left, a doctor walked in and was like, oh, since we have concerns about our baby and I'm past my due date, it will be a good idea to induce labor. As at that time I didn't even think about induction, to be honest. I wasn't even prepared for induction or anything like that. That was the last thing I wanted to hear. And you know, everybody has this dream of, oh, having your baby naturally, it just coming, and you say, oh, maybe my water just broke, that kind of thing. But that was not the case for me, right? So she advised that we induce the baby, and I thought about it for a brief moment, and I agreed. So they injected me with something. I forget the name. I'm going to put the picture somewhere. Pristine or something like that. They injected me with that and gave me some morphine as well for the pain. So immediately they gave me that medicine. It kind of kick-started labor, so I started contracting, right? But the contractions were very minor. They were not that as intense as they were supposed to. Like, it was gonna progress naturally. So they gave that to me and told me to go home and wait for contractions to become, you know, heightened. So I went home. The morphine they gave me helped because I was feeling contractions already, but because of the morphine I was able to manage the pain. So I went home, I had dinner, took a shower, went to bed. Then at around 3 o'clock precisely, I started to feel wet down there. So I got up, I went to the bathroom, and then I saw that I had a little bit of water and blood everywhere. So I looked at it. I didn't actually know what that was, but then I was like, could that be my water? I was like, maybe that's my water. I mean, I'm a first time mom. I've never had a baby before, so I wasn't sure what that was. I was like, oh, what I was just confused basically, you know. So I woke my husband up. I was like, I think my water is broken, you know. So he got up, and then we drove to the hospital around 3 o'clock in the morning. When I got there, I told them I think my water was broken. So they took me in. They tested to see if the water was indeed amniotic fluid. So they said yes, I was right. My water has broken. So they took me into the labor room. You know, hooked me up to the several monitors here and there. And then at that time, the contractions started to, you know, heighten. It became intense. Like I couldn't walk properly. I was in so much pain. I mean, I'm like, my goodness, what mothers experience at childbirth is not beans. Is not beans. I'm not even joking here. Like mothers, I salute you. Like that period feels like you're in between life and death, to be honest, because the pain is out of this world. So moving on, I couldn't walk properly, so they took me into the labor room, hooked me up to the monitors, and then they checked to see if I was dilating. They had checked, and I was still, I think, about 3 centimeters at that point. I hadn't, you know, fully dilated yet, so I had to wait. So they gave me oxytocin to speed up the process. So that also helped. Before they hooked me up to oxytocin, I think they asked me if I wanted an epidural, and I said hell yeah. Hell yeah. So they gave me an epidural at my back, and that actually helped. The epidural kicked in immediately. The pain I was feeling earlier stopped, so I could relax in bed. I took a nap. I was okay in bed. My husband was also there too, so he was providing me the support I needed. So we just waited and waited and waited, and, you know, spoke to family and friends and all that. The nurse kept on checking my blood pressure and checking, because they also hooked the baby up to the monitor as well to check the heartbeat on a regular basis, so they could see the baby's heartbeat, you know, fluctuating. So my baby's heartbeat was okay, my blood pressure was okay, you know, my own I was okay as well. So everything was fine. So we just had to wait. All of a sudden, after a couple of hours, right, I started to feel like sharp pain, like really sharp pains, and I'm like, I thought I just had an epidural. Why am I feeling all this? I thought I wasn't supposed to feel anything at all, right? Every time I feel that pain, the nurse would tell me to click to, because I had epidural in me. So anytime I feel pain, I had the opportunity to press a button, and I'll have more epidural flow into me through my spine, right? So I kept on doing that. It worked in the beginning. So every time I pressed it, I get more epidural and I feel fine. Every time I pressed it, I get more epidural and I feel fine. Then all of a sudden, every time I pressed it, I wasn't feeling fine anymore. The pain was just increasing with intensity. Like it went from 0 to 100 real fast. So I told the nurse, I was like, why is this thing not working? Like, why am I feeling so much pain? You know, from my waist down was numb, but around my belly, I was feeling all the pain, right? So I told her, and then she was like, oh, let me check your cervix. So she put her hand in there and she said, oh, I'm 10 centimeters. It's time to push. I was like, what? It's time to push? Then immediately she said it's time to push. I didn't even think twice because I could feel all the contractions. I just started pushing. I started pushing before the doctor even came in. So I pushed and pushed and pushed, and, you know, my baby's head was out. But then, you know, it got to a point where the doctor was like, oh, the baby's heart rate is dropping. Would you mind if we give you an episiotomy? An episiotomy is when they give you a cut around your perineal area, which is the area between the vagina and the anus, right? So I said at that point I just wanted the baby out, right? So I said, okay, that's fine. So she gave me a small cut, and then my baby was born. You know, at that point I couldn't feel any pain because I had the epidural there, so I couldn't feel the pain there, but I could feel the contractions on my belly, right? So it all worked out that way. My baby was born healthy, fine. He was just perfect. At that point I was like, oh my goodness. Like the first time I saw my child, I was like, oh my goodness, this thing actually came out of me. I can't believe it. I was like, God, you're good, you're awesome. Like this is my child, my own, my very own, right? Like pregnancy is such a journey. Like at first it feels like you're frustrated and all, like you're like, why are you going through all this pain? But the moment you see your child, it's like that pain just erases, it just goes away. It goes away completely. It's like that's the reward for all this pain and all this 9 months of suffering. Like it's not an easy, you know, something. Like men need to understand, and men need to, you know, I just wish one day God can say, we're going to switch roles today. Men, you start taking responsibility for childbearing, while women are the ones that will donate the sperm. I just wish, you know, it can happen that way for one day, so that men can go through that process and then they can understand, you know. But I give men props as well, because I mean they try, you know. My husband was there for me all through, you know. It was not an easy thing for him. He was in shock for a while, you know. It's not an easy process, but I give God all the glory. My baby was born hale and happy, and I had no complications whatsoever. Everything happened just as God planned it, and I'm happy and excited that it went, you know, the way it went. Well, for mothers out there who are, you know, seeking the fruit of the womb, but who are waiting on God for a child, don't worry, yours is coming very soon. And mothers who have had, you know, babies, you are the real MVP. I give you, you know, I salute you. It is not an easy journey. It's not an easy process. That thing is not being... I really respect mothers, because I mean, before now I respected mothers, I respected them, but nothing prepares you for that experience. Nothing. It is, in fact, I just, you know, mothers are blessed. Honestly, it's not an easy thing. Anyways, hope you enjoyed my labor and delivery story. I'll do another video regarding my postpartum experience. I'll let you into the true tea of how my postpartum experience was. It wasn't a very now I get why they call it the 4th trimester. It's truly the 4th trimester, right? It's truly the 4th trimester. I'll do another video on that to let you into my experience and the things I did to help me relieve pain during that period. So if you're interested in that content, stick around. I'll be releasing that video very soon. Okay, so if you like this video, please click the like button. Share your experiences as well in the comment section. Let me know exactly what you went through. Was it an easy pregnancy? Was it an easy labor and delivery story you had? Were there complications? Let me know what your experience was, so we can share, you know, we can share ideas. Also share this video with your friends and family. Let's get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers. I'm happy and I'm here to document my experience to you. Let me know what your experience was and we can talk about it. Okay, I'll see you again in my next video. Bye.